guys, so I'm back from London and I'm pretty exhausted. It's been a heavy time, but also beautiful as well. I just wanted to get on here and just kind of explain to you what I've learned. I don't want to go into too much detail about stuff because it's not all of this is my story. It's my sister's story, and so she's going to do a video explaining what she's learned and stuff like that. But what happened is I was sent to a sister, and there was some darkness that was exposed into the light. There was a deliverance process going down through old soul traumas. This is not my story, so I don't want to go into the detail about this. But just the Lord working is just incredible. And we can demand deliverance and do deliverance over ourselves, but it's also a long process of sanctification, and the Lord will reveal things to you that needs to be solved, that you need to lay at the cross. And like a really important prayer for us brothers and sisters is, Lord, search my heart. Search my heart, Lord. Because we might not even know what to pray about. We might not even know what we don't have forgiveness about. There might be things that are suppressed deep down within us that we don't even know to acknowledge, to be able to ask for forgiveness about. Because this is it, some things hide and some things are suppressed, deep rooted stuff. And it might be so rooted and deep that we don't even acknowledge it. We don't even see that it's there. So this is why we need to really say to the Lord, search my heart, Lord. And he will. He'll either directly convict you about certain things, or he'll put people in your path that will bring things to the surface. And basically that's what happened here. I was sent there, and through many amazing happenings, which the Lord completely did, things were surfaced up. And it was just obviously very difficult. It's a difficult process, being sanctified. And if you're sanitizing a wound, it's going to sting, right? But it's for your healing. So ultimately this week was really, really difficult, but really, really healing. And the Lord's doing amazing works. I'm just so overjoyed with what the Lord's doing in my sister's life. It's just amazing. Just the difference in her spirit. Just even admitting that things aren't quite right, and admitting it and not being defensive and not being, resistant, and just saying, you know what, I'm wrong about this. That is really the Lord's working in your heart, because it's a difficult thing to do, right? To admit when you're wrong. And the Lord gives you the strength to do that. And then he can do the work in you. So to ask him to search your heart, to bring things will come to the surface, and when you see it come to the surface, instead of being in denial, you need to see it for what it is and be like, you know what, Lord, this is not right. None of us are good, so this is it. We're going to go through this sanctification process our whole lives. There's going to be stuff coming up, and that's great. The Lord's wanting to work through you. He's wanting to renew you daily and just bring up all the heavy stuff and just lay it at the cross, and he just wants to free you up and heal you, And so the main part of that is to actually admit that you're not right, to actually admit there's an issue here, and to take that captive and to lay it at the foot of the cross and say, for example, if it's unforgiveness, wow, I didn't realize, but I actually have unforgiveness about such and such. Lord, I choose to forgive, but help me to forgive. Put it out to the Lord. Admit you're wrong, repent, and the Lord will do that amazing renewal in your spirit and just transform you and lift you high, just taking that burden off and just laying it at his feet. And there's a lot of us that walk around with these burdens that are just so hidden, they're so suppressed that we don't even know it's there. And when the Lord brings it to the surface, it's difficult, man. It's so difficult, because you go through the motions. You might go through denial and trying to justify it and all of that stuff, and it ends up just being messy and painful. And then eventually you submit and you say, you know what, this is not healthy, this is not right, Lord, and just please help me. And when you give that to the Lord, there is like a burden lifted off of you that you didn't even know was there. He wants to constantly do this with you. He wants to constantly work through you, And so it's been one of those where it's been a massive sort of deliverance process of a purging, for my sister, and the details and all of that. She's going to actually expose this, what she was harboring, and just be completely open and honest with you guys. That's what the Lord wants, you know. He wants us to expose these hidden things within us, you know, and just bring it to the light, you know, because otherwise the enemy will make you try and keep it secret. The enemy will try and make you, you know, oh well, it's just me that feels like this, or it's just my problems, or, you know, and then shame will cover you, and then condemnation will cover you. No, brothers and sisters, none of us are perfect. We're all going through things. The best thing to do is confess among your brethren. Get it out, expose it to the light. You know, admit that you're wrong, admit that this is a problem, and lay it at the foot of the Lord, and he will do amazing healings in you. And yeah, so it's been a heavy process, really. This week's been really heavy and really healing and just beautiful. And, you know, in the midst of it all, I was a little bit like, oh man, what is happening right now? You know, the Lord's grace was flowing through me regardless of any issues and trials. I was just able to stand firm in the Lord, and he's really strengthened me through this, that regardless of trials, it's in his hands, you know, and it all works out to the greater good according to his purposes. He knows what needs to be done with us. We don't. We might say, oh well, this isn't what I would have chosen to go through. This trial wouldn't have been what I would have chosen to learn this. But no, he knows what you need. He knows, and we just need to admit that we don't know, admit that we are not perfect, admit that we have things, and just ask the Lord to keep revealing it. Don't be afraid, you know, don't be afraid that he will reveal these things and allow you to give them to him. This is an amazing process, amazing. And so, you know, we just need to remember that if we're faced in trials and we're going through difficult times, that Jesus Christ is all authority, yeah? Jesus Christ is King of Kings. He is all authority. Anything that's happening in your life, he's given permission for it to happen, you know, and it's for your greater good according to his purposes. He wants to sanctify you, he wants to wash you, he wants to use you, he wants to have his will be done in your life, you know. All of this is being an obedient child of God and just saying, look, Lord, your will be done in my life. Do what you need to do, no matter if it hurts. I know you've got this, and I trust you, that you know the overall plan anyway. You know that it works out. You know, and I don't, and that's fine. And so the more these trials happen, the more when we're in the midst of it and not knowing quite what's going on, we can enter into his rest and trust in him. You know, the book of James is great to go into this, you know. And towards the end of everything, the Lord has really revealed to me how his hand's been in the whole entire week, how his hand's been in all of it. He is incredible. He's incredible. And in the middle, I wasn't necessarily quite sure what was happening, but I trusted in him. I trusted that he had this, that he was establishing our steps, that he was doing stuff here. Even though it seemed painful, even though it seemed like, oh, is the enemy? No, he is doing this. It's, you know, we're going to be trialed by fire. And this just brings us more perseverance, more strength, more faith in him. And, yeah, I mean, I said last night, you know, if you wanted me to do this 1,000 times, Lord, I would again, because it's just amazing. It's amazing to see him working through these trials, to see what he's really doing, which is all amazing. It's like he's edifying, he's healing, he's strengthening, he's renewing, he's, you know, he's doing an amazing works through these trials, you know. And so I just wanted to encourage you guys that if you're facing anything difficult right now, don't be double-minded and think, oh, the Lord forsaken me? Is the enemy in control now? No. The Lord is the all authority. He's doing a perfect work in you, you know, and it might be painful, but it is all for the greater good according to his purposes. You know, if we love him and we live for him, then that's all that matters. His will be done, even if it's painful. His will be done. And you come out the other end and you rejoice, and you're strengthened and edified for it. And he is just so good. And yeah, so I'm so tired, and I'm singing the Psalms today and in worship and reading the word and just rejoicing in that, like that trial, just seeing how he worked through that and how he brought up old stuff to just get rid of it, just to help and grow and edify my sister and edify me. And he is just amazing. So all glory to Jesus Christ. And I love you guys, and I'll speak to you very soon.